sOs. Stats.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the GSL Code S. This is day one of the round of 4, and I think tonight's going to kick a lot of ass. How you doing, Artosis?
Oh, dude, it's the round of 4. It is an all-star round of 4. The best Protoss, Terran, and Zerg, and then two-time world champion sOs fighting for survival here. He has to win tonight to have any shot at BlizzCon.
sOs, I think, can take it, but it's not going to be easy. Stats is in the best form we've really ever seen. Stats is just a guy who's constantly brought a better version of himself each time we cast him.
Yeah.
sOs is the player that you should never really count out versus anybody. There's nobody sOs cannot beat. There's no wall he can't climb.
That is so very, very true here. And he's like one of these guys that I look at as a dark horse to win the world championships this year, even though that's a funny thing to say.
sOs?
Yeah. He hasn't been like super on top this year. He hasn't won any tournaments or anything like that. But he's so dangerous that players like Innovation and TY, big favorites for BlizzCon, better watch their backs if he gets there.
Well, the funny thing about sOs is you always have to have this moment where even if he's the player nobody's talking about, once he gets into the finals or the Final Four, you kind of say, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense too, right?
Yeah.
He's always been very dominant. This guy winning BlizzCon twice. I'd say one of the scariest players, and he knows how to prepare for his opponent in the current meta. I think he's the best at that in the whole world.
I think you're basically right there, Tasteless. He's just such a tricky player indeed, and going up against Stats, I feel like he is going to out-mind game Stats a bit here. Can slow and steady win this race.
We'll see. We're going to go to the interview now with the two players, sOs and Stats, see what their thoughts are before we start this best of 7 tonight.
김유진 선수와 김대엽 선수 제 양옆에 나와 있습니다. 안녕하세요.
All right, we're going to see who's going to get to the finals now. Hello, hello.
자, 먼저 김유진 선수. 자, 오늘부터는 7전 4선승제죠. 또 쉽지 않은 동족전입니다.
From
오늘
today,
어떻게
you're going to have best of
준비해
7s. And in this one, it's a mirror matchup. How did you prepare?
네.
I've got a lot of confidence in PvP, so since it's a best of 7, I had to have a lot of different builds and styles and strategies set up. So it was not easy.
네.
But you're known for planning for multiple matches, sOs.
아, 정말
We have high
중요한
expectations for
분들과
you.
많이 연습을 하신 것 같습니다. 김대엽 선수 말로 김유진
You said,
선수가
look, I
너무
prepared for some top-class Protoss
하기
games.
때문에 걱정이 된다 이야기를 하셨거든요. 오늘 그 기대에 부응할
Stats
수
already mentioned
있을까요?
that sOs, he always has that unusual style of play, which he's concerned about. What do you have to say about that?
네. 아, 그래요. 그게 관건이겠네요.
As long as Stats
자,
says that
그러면
he's
김대엽
says
선수도
that he's a pro,
이야기를
he should be okay.
나눠보겠습니다. 오늘 정말
Alright, now let's
쉽지
talk
않은
to
상대를
Stats.
만났습니다. 오늘 어떻게 준비해 오셨어요?
How did you prepare for today? Honestly.
네.
Since sOs
네.
sOs has been practicing with all the other top-tier Protosses
네.
for this match, so I felt it was like a little bit tough for me to find people to train with for
열심히
this.
하셨다. 자, 김대엽 선수 2시즌
But Neve
만에
apparently
지금
helped, Stats a
결승
lot.
눈앞에 두고 있거든요.
Wow.
그래서 참 많은 분들이 우승 후보라고 또 생각하시는 것 같아요. 지금 그때와 비교했을 때
So
기량이
you've
어느
already won a
정도인 것
GSL title
같아요?
this year. You
확실히
could possibly win a second one.
그때보다는
How does season 1 compare to season 3 stats?
아,
그래도 유진이가 또 어떻게 준비를
I think my PvP skills have improved a lot since season 1. And
벌써부터 경기가 벌써부터 기대가 돼요.
I'm also
네,
very
오늘
curious
또
about how
모아서
sOs is going to approach this series. I've got a lot of
그리고
pressure
또
myself.
한편으로는 또
네.
두려워요. 어떻게 또 치고
So are you looking
들어올까
forward to
네.
tonight's
좀 걱정이
matches?
되네요.
I'm a little bit
기대가
scared.
되고 한편으로는 두렵다.
I just he
네, 잠시
basically said
후면
his
이번
sOs play style
시즌에
is so weird. It's hard to
결승
prep against.
진출자가 탄생합니다. 두 분의 파이팅 넘치는 각오로 오늘 경기를
All right, we're gonna find
시작해
out
보겠는데요.
the season 3
먼저
finalists
김유진 선수.
in just a moment. But any final words to say to each other before we get this going?
하지만
같이 최선을 다해서
I'm a little bit nervous, but
좋은 경기 보여드릴 수
Let's-
있도록 하겠습니다.
네,
let's play it out and see what
자,
happens.
김대엽 선수가 한마디 해주시죠.
그동안
What about you,
유진이가
Stats?
좀 약간 악당처럼 제 프로브들을 많이 잡았었는데 영화 같은 거 보면은 항상
So far, SOS has killed a lot of my
당하고만 있다가 결국엔
probes like they're villains.
착한
네.
영웅이 승리하잖아요.
네.
네, 결국 승리하겠습니다.
In the movies, we can really
오늘의
see
김민재 선수의 엔딩이 되겠네요.
the good guy always has to suffer early
네,
from,
그렇게
against the
되게
bad
제가
guy.
만들어야죠.
But in the end,
네,
the good guys
알겠습니다.
always win.
자, 여러분도 기대하셔도 좋을 것 같은데요. 자, 과연
Unless this is into our
이번 시즌
filmatosis thing.
Yeah.
Then we just don't know.
누구일지
Or maybe Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's true. All right, that does it for the interview. We are going to go into this match shortly here.
좀 되게 부끄러운 것 같아요. 저는 솔직히 막 다른 열심히 하는 선수들만큼 막 더 오버해서 열심히 하거나 막 그렇게 하지는 않았었던 것 같은데 정말 2017년 해가 정말 저한테 운이 정말 많이 따라주는 것처럼 성적이 너무너무 잘 나와서 정말 실감이 또 잘 안 나더라고요.
자신의 최대 약점, 가장 약한 부분 그 저그전 홍준 강민수 선수를 잡아내면 4강 진출을 이뤄냅니다.
저번에 32강에서 떨어지고 이번 시즌도 한 32강, 16강에서 떨어지면 저를 다른 사람들이 평가를 하면 그냥 딱 저 정도인 선수구나 생각할 거기 때문에 저는 그게 싫었기 때문에 그냥 최선을 다해서 꾸역꾸역 올라가 보자 생각은 가졌어요. 강민수랑 붙게 되었을 때 저그전을 최근에 많이 못 보여줬어요. 그래서 생각해놓은 빌드가 많았는데 좀 연습하면서 많이 다듬고 긴장만 안 하면 할만하겠다, 이길 수 있겠다 생각하고 1세트를 임했는데 제가 그 8 저글링 드랍에 일꾼이 너무 많이 상해가지고 게임이 좀 쉽지 않겠구나, 안 되는구나 했는데 좀 중후반으로 넘어가면서 프로토스의 그 조합의 무서움을 좀 보여주면서 이기니까 그래서 1세트가 제일 기억에 남아요. 그걸 졌으면 3대 0으로 끝났을 것 같아요.
저는 당연히 이겨야 된다는 상대인 기웅이를 이렇게 뽑아가지고 좀 쉽게 저도 올라갈 줄 알았어요. 근데 막상 경기를 해보니까 기웅이가 정말 열심히 준비해온 게 느껴지더라고요. 정말. 그리고 제 특유의 후반 운영인 그 후반 운영에서도 전혀 기웅이가 밀리지 않은 모습도 보여주고 정말 고전 끝에 올라가게 됐었던 것 같아요.
올해는 딱히 최고 성적이라고 제가 말할 수 있는 게 4강? 그리고 그 4강 다음에는 또 너무 빨리 떨어져가지고 많이 아쉬운데 이제 마지막 기회 잡았으니까 블리즈컨을 가지 못하더라도 아직 그래도 김유진 이 정도 살아있네. 그냥 그 말 들으려고 최대한 열심히 하는 것 같아요.
처음 1세트를 이렇게 시작할 때만 하더라도 긴장감이 좀 없었다면은 오히려 약간 이렇게 한 경기를 이렇게 치르고 나서 이건 정말 긴장 좀 바짝하고 긴장을 하면서 경기들을 펼쳤던 것 같아요.
대엽이가 누구랑 붙어도 안정감이 워낙 있는 선수라서 잘한다, 안정감 있다. 이게 제일 어울리는 선수인 것 같아요.
아니 어떻게 저렇게 게임을 하지? 와, 나는 진짜 저런 생각을 진짜 꿈에도 못 했는데 그럴 정도로 정말 특이하고 되게 좋은 플레이들을 많이 알고 또 굉장히 또 구사를 잘 하는 그런 선수인 것 같아요.
대엽아, 우선 너가 병렬이를 이기고 올라왔으니까 참 대단한 선수인 것 같지만 그래도 너는 잃을 게 많고 나는 잃을 게 별로 없기 때문에 재밌게 게임할 수 있을 것 같아. 일꾼만 조심해라.
유진아, 평소에 너 내 일꾼 너무 노리더라. 진짜 이번에는 무슨 수를 써서라도 꼭 지킬 거고 그리고 경기에서도 정말 빈틈없이 준비해와서 멋진 모습 보여주고 또 멋진 경기 펼치자.
That's actually really interesting to hear the focusing on the probes. That's definitely one way to win a mirror matchup, especially in PvP or TvT, is to just keep your worker count overall ahead. But I didn't realize it was that much of a big deal with stats and SOS. But SOS is somebody who knows how to get in there and deal the damage.
Yeah, he certainly does. And, you know, he can play the late game as well, so I don't want to say stats will just crush him in that situation, but in just very standard head-to-head play, that's where stats has the edge. So doing things like catching him off guard, killing some probes, definitely can be a good way to go about it here for SOS.
I'm expecting a good amount of proxies here from SOS. I don't know if we're going to see that very much from stats. Because I feel like if we end up in some situation where they're both hiding tech or hiding buildings, I think SOS is always has an edge in that situation.
Yeah.
SOS handles himself very well under abnormal circumstances, where I feel like the more standard the game is in a PvP, the more favored that should be for stats.
I would agree with you on that, Tasteless. And, you know, like, where there's a dark shrine, there's a way here for SOS. If the game gets down and dirty, that's where he's really going to excel. But Stats, no doubt, has come very, very prepared to do just what he should. He said he practiced a lot with Neeb. Neeb is quite an intelligent and strong player for him to be practicing against, so I'm sure that that has given Stats a little bit of a different flair. I wouldn't call Neeb like a Korean Protoss, you know what I mean? Like, he kind of has his own way of playing.
Call him a non-Korean Protoss.
Yeah,
how about that?
a foreigner Protoss.
Foreigner Protoss, if you will.
Yeah, but
I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, he has a very different approach to PvP.
But we'll see how this goes down, man. What is your prediction here?
I think it's going to go to Game 7 and SOS will win.
Okay, I like that
that's
prediction.
Not that exciting, but if you notice, if we have SOS in a game, I'll actually almost always predict him to win.
Yeah.
He's just so, maybe like not if he's against Sue in the round of 4, but pretty much any other circumstance, I've just found over the years of casting him that you should really never count him out. But this is going to be tough, man. Again, two players of the same race, but very different styles, very different rates of success.
Okay. Yeah.
This is going to be fun. We're going to learn a lot about this matchup overall and where it currently is in this iteration of StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
Legacy of the Void.
Well, you're certainly right about that. We're going to know everything there is to know about PvP after this series. You know, on the other hand, I'm looking at this. I think SOS is going to win maybe against Innovation in the BlizzCon Finals.
Think so?
Yeah, no, I think he's going to take down Stats here. I think Innovation will take down Dark. He'll take down Innovation and win that last spot in BlizzCon, man. I have the faith in this guy. He is always, you know, just coming up at this moment. This is a PvP best of 7. This is SOS's territory. He's got it.
All right, we're going to go into game number 1. It's going to start out on the map Abyssal Reef, SOS versus Stats.
Fight! 2017 Hot 6, GSL Season 3, Code S.
In the upper left, in the blue, he is
Generic Green Wings, SOS.
And bottom right, in the red, he is. Look at this. He's already sent a probe out here. SOS already has a probe inside the guy's base.
He can't help himself.
I don't even know if we're going to do the intro yet. Okay, I guess we'll get it out of the way.
Stats.
Dude, he's just
already in his base, messing with his builds.
He's like, I'm going to take your gases. Oh, you made a gate at your wall. I guess that you saw it, and I can't. But
that is... See, this is already highlighting the two different ways these guys play.
Yeah.
SOS always wants to try to seize an opportunity, start making things off-tempo as far as the build order goes.
Yeah.
That Stats has to win. Stats doesn't really want to mess with his opponent that often early on. He wants to get to the proper tech. He wants to do it the fastest, most efficient way.
Yeah, yeah.
And SOS is like, you know, he's evil in that sense. Anybody who wants to play standard builds and then encounters somebody like SOS on ladder is always tilted.
You're certainly right about that. In fact, countless interviews we've had with StarCraft 2 pro gamers where they say SOS is the most frustrating player to play against, the scariest player to play against. because he so does play his own game. And by the way, we didn't get to talk too much about the map order looking at this, but I think that SOS can 4-1 this.
Oh, I think it's always possible that SOS comes out with a very lopsided result in his favor.
Yeah. If it goes, there are two really big maps finish this off with Acolyte and Mech Depot, or Mech Depot and Acolyte rather. So let's get a little bit bigger, and it's going to be harder to actually kill stats on those maps. So anyways, I'm just throwing that out there. I have the utmost confidence in the two-time world champion SOS. He missed the last BlizzCon tasteless. He should not be missing.
That was really weird when he missed that last one.
Dude, okay, do you know the last few years, SOS has gotten exactly this cutoff spot that doesn't make it to BlizzCon, or he's won BlizzCon?
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Isn't that so weird? Like, he wins BlizzCon and then he gets 17th or whatever and doesn't get to go because the top 16 go, and then the next year he wins BlizzCon, and then he gets... we had 8 spots last year. I think didn't he get 9th place and just barely didn't make it?
It was something like that.
It was crazy because he made it to the finals against Beyond at the end and only one of them could make it. It was like, oh my god. But yeah, this guy is like, I don't know. He's just, there's nothing more fun than SOS towards the end of a tournament. Early on, I'm like, I don't know what this guy's going to do.
Well, sometimes he flounders out too.
Yeah.
But if he gets far enough along, it seems like he's able to keep that momentum on his side. Now we got Scouting Probe coming in here for stats, getting a look at what SOS is doing, seeing basically everything tech-wise. That's a huge scout.
It's gigantic to see that he has a Robo going up right now, and Stats is actually the one that's sitting here with a Stargate. Like, that just gives Stats an advantage. There's no two ways to look at that.
Certainly. We have an Oracle that's being made over here inside the base of SOS, or I'm sorry, of Stats rather, pulling that forward. This is one of these games where the guys' IDs are similar enough that it's...
yeah. At least it's not Sue SOS.
Yeah, Sue SOS is the one where even if I'm reading the IDs, I can get thrown up. But yeah, we see him now with an Oracle over here. It looks like the Oracle's going to go out now and try to commit to the main. Not spotted by those Adept Shades, since they don't really have much vision. Oh, this is bad.
Yeah, quite a commitment here by SOS. And with this Oracle staying home on defense, I mean, that's quite a call there by Stats, right? Because what he scouts is that there's a Robo there, so he knows that, you know, there is, for instance, there's not a Stargate, there's not a Phoenix going to catch him. He won't lose his Oracle if he sends it across, but to just sit back and defend and make sure he's in a good spot, I got to say, kudos to Stats. His tried and true solid style working out.
I kind of like this second Oracle though here from Stats. This is pretty cool. Let's see if he can get that much more damage. I think that other Oracle should be headed up northbound right now. And with his own Adepts coming in here, doesn't get that many workers. Here comes the second Oracle now. Now there's actually not enough to defend over here, so this is where a lot of workers are going to get killed. So already the opposite happening from what we had somewhat predicted early on. It's really Stats that's coming in here and cutting down the worker count for SOS.
Yeah, super well done right there as well. You know, I think that this is kind of interesting that he opened first map Stargate, because Stats is not as much a Stargate guy in this matchup. Like, he's someone that you expect to do things like, you know, get blank, get some observers out, play kind of that safe game. And this might be throwing SOS off just a little bit as well, right?
I agree, Artosa. So, you know, now that this third base is being taken here, I think Stats can close this game out. If he doesn't make any more mistakes, I think he should be fine. Getting the Phoenixes now, which are going to be a direct answer to the Immortals that are being pumped out. Stats is playing one of the best PvPs you could ask for.
That's okay. That's okay, because we have a Glaive Adept all incoming.
This is true.
So this is going to get decided rather quickly at this point.
But I think that's also what makes SOS so good in these situations, is he looks at this and says, okay, I'm already a little bit behind. I don't like this. Let's go ahead and do an all-in, and then we'll try something new in game number 2. And even if Stats plays a very clean game, if he doesn't properly answer this in time, he'll lose this game anyways.
He cannot lose this Prism. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's lost like 15 probes already. It's crazy how far behind SOS is. He has to win right here, right now, and he knows it.
Okay. We see the Shades now coming in here. I don't think he's going to commit on this location. Oh, that's blocked, right? Where the pylon is?
he blocked it.
So he's going to orbit around and try to go for this Nexus over here, and I think this Nexus may be sacked.
It's super free,
yeah. There's no reason for Stats to try to run in and try to defend this location.
After killing 15 probes and having all these different tech routes right now as Stats, he has all 3 tech routes. Like,
yeah,
he has to be feeling invincible right now. All he has to do is not die in the next, like, couple minutes, and the game should be his.
Okay, he's going to try to ferry some of these units up here into the main.
Oh, man, the pylons are coming up.
Yeah, this is not looking great, but he's going to move around now here to the bottom. Not the best angle, though. He's not able to get into where he needs to be. Some of these Adepts now hitting into the main, but I feel like Stats can actually just hang on. I think he's just okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe that SOS is remaking probes, so he's basically just committed here. This is going to be it. It looks like
that's
now or never.
Well, he's going to shade on top of everything here. He does have glaives. He's trying to deal as much damage as he can, but, I mean, between the overcharges and look at this, the Oracle getting in on the kills.
Yeah, he got 2 of those Immortals. It looks like there was a Phoenix that was coming in there to try to poke the Warp Prism again. But the longer that Stats just stays here on 2 bases and continues to produce units, the more ahead he's going to be this game. And SOS is now making probes again, which can tell us that he's probably going to try to keep this pressure on, but then go back and having somewhat more of a normal macro game since they're both on 2 bases.
He's done 0 damage, though, which makes this very scary for me. Look at this. He has less Adepts right now than Stats has.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't bode well.
There's also the chance that SOS just taps out, identifying that this is, game 1 and possibly a 7-game series, and therefore he can't really afford to drag this out for too much longer. Not bad, though. These Adepts over here inside the main, but with the Oracles, the Cannons, this eventually is all going to get cleaned up. No real opportunity for these Adepts to get back home, and of course, even though if he does get some workers in this fight, ultimately he's going to have a smaller army.
And with the Prism going, wow, never mind.
It lives. That's crazy. GG. Okay. He taps out. Stats wins game number 1.
Well, I think that SOS maybe got caught off guard a little bit there. The double Oracle really did a great job. And, well, we'll see how map number 2 goes, Staceless. Is Stats going to continue on this line of play? Like that, go in Stargate and keep that first Oracle home to just make sure that SOS can't do anything with Adepts. I like it because most people won't do that. They'll see, oh, you went Robo and you have Adepts on the map. That means you don't have that many Stalkers. That means I get a lot of kills. But then you're gambling against, like, the best probe killer in the whole world. Did you want to speak?
No,
I got more stuff to say.
I can't believe, actually, how well Stats handled the early part of that game. And then the fact of the matter is, I think there was something predictable about SOS doubling down and doing it all in, but Stats just held it perfectly.
Yeah.
It was also funny that there was a probe sent out immediately by SOS to try to steal gases or do something to take control of that game. But Stats basically handled it and was fine. Now, will SOS do anything like that here in Game 2? It is possible. On a map like Odyssey, you definitely can do some sneaky plays. Let's see if Stats just continues to be consistent and eventually shuts SOS out.
Let's see, Jesus.
2017 Hot 6 GSL Season 3 Code S.
In the bottom right in the blue, he is
Jin Air Green Wings SOS.
in the upper left in the red.
Splice. Stats.
So we're still waiting to see how much of this entire series is going to fall into sort of the typecasted play styles we have for these two guys.
Yeah.
They are in some ways polar opposites. SOS is unpredictable. Will cheese, will do these weird timings. Stats is somebody who kind of wants you to attack into him, and then he'll outlast you, and you end up winning at some point in time later on. He ends up winning, some point in time later on.
Well, I think for sure Stats will mix in some aggression, right? Like, he generally will. You know, even though he's a very defensive player, from time to time he'll put something in there. For BBQ, stayed for GSL. The only real reason.
Yeah, that's the right choice right there. Oh, from Florida.
The hurricane was coming, so they came to GSL. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming down. I hope
SOS
that your house and family are okay.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, SOS is moving out again, Artosis.
Of course he is.
Does not appear so far to be going to. Oh no, maybe it is. Is he going to go directly to
Get
this
off
base?
your phone. Watch the GSL. All right.
Got busted. What if she was watching League of Legends? That'd be the real crime. He'd be like, oh
my God.
this is a scandal. I actually thought because it's SOS, and I wasn't looking at just some of the pathing on this map, I thought maybe wait a minute.
Are
okay,
you
he is. No.
kidding me?
No.
This is too much.
I was about to say, oh, it's just a normal scout, but then look at this. He just hides us right up here.
Dude, I don't think so. How does this... Like, he has to dodge the mothership core. A lot of times the mothership core pokes over, like, just to scout a little bit. You don't need it in your base the millisecond it pops out. So normally you scout at least the right side of your base.
We need a shot of this. We need to get a camera shot of this in the upper left.
Yeah.
We're not watching
man.
this.
He saw it. He saw it.
Okay, he sees.
Okay, so this bothers me a little bit because if you make a mothership core, which, well, you do.
Turns out those
Because
things are
it's
pretty essential.
Yeah, it's a good unit, I heard. It's so good, it's getting taken out. But, yeah, you always just kind of check things.
Oh, and now he's going to go for a Dark Shrine behind this.
I think that was always the plan, the Dark Shrine.
Yeah.
I think he was just
You don't
gonna
think
make
this is a reaction to
No.
maybe that probe getting knocked back?
I think he wanted a pylon in the main base to make
Just
the
something
DT warp
like-
and be like like so quick.
He just warps those DTs in. It's like, remember hug.
yeah. Too bad there's no steam to hide behind there.
He tears open his shirt and's got his hug tattoo right on his chest. We're like, wow. By the way,
lives on.
Okay, well, this, it might not matter what he's doing if he didn't have these stalkers in the right spot. Already with a lot more stalkers coming forward here, now getting that pylon. Okay, SOS might just get wrecked this series, guys.
I'm starting to think my 4-1 prediction might not come true.
Yeah, who would have thunk it?
Well,
This is...
hold on, Tasteless. He doesn't have a robo, dude. He doesn't have any detection.
Yeah.
Look at his stats. Mr. Greedy Pants making a Twilight. He's killed 2 stalkers already. You think he could make a robo and just get more ahead, but no.
But, with this many stalkers coming down here, dude. I think he's going to get... Because he can actually possibly hop up. Okay, here we go. Now, the Nexus is going to go down. I don't believe he's going to stop. Well, he actually should run up there. But he doesn't realize there's DTs coming at him. You have to think that on some level...
There has to be something.
I'm only seeing 3.
He must have a something in his base.
Yeah. He didn't go for 3 stalkers
he wins.
and then
He
stop.
just won the game. He just won the game, Tasteless. Game's over.
Okay, well, the stalkers are going to come up here. He needs to warp in some DTs.
Look.
Can he get proper blocking and stop the probes from getting touched? I don't think he can.
No, well, even if he can, it's like eventually that blocking will die too because there's no detection.
This game took an interesting twist here. And with the DTs over here, I guess you're right. Yeah, it's almost as if the fact that the Nexus was killed off and the stalkers were lost early on, GG, that SOS was in a position that Stats overestimated himself.
Yeah.
That's so funny. That is a very frustrating loss, by the way, for Stats.
He gained such an advantage in the early game here that, in my opinion, the only way you can think about things, like when you kill 2 stalkers right off the bat, you caught a probe in your main base first off, okay? SOS stuck a probe in your main base. You kill 2 stalkers off the bat, you force a cancel on the pylon and naturally start hitting the Nexus. At that point, the only thing in the world you need to worry about is whether or not you have detection and something that hits air near your mineral line. Those are like in my opinion, this is the only equation that matters at that point. You're so far ahead of Stats that how can you ever lose except to things that are like auto win?
I feel like when that Nexus was killed up and he had his own Nexus making, that's when you just want to cross all your T's and dot all your I's.
That's when you make a ring of pylons over the top of your ramp and you're making a robo
there's
and
nothing
a forge.
else that you need to... I mean, when there's a point where you're winning and you've got it, the deal sealed. All you have to do is make sure everything's safe back at home. And it was almost like he was trying to... It was a win more move.
Yes.
From there.
Not a get more ahead move, but a
win more move. And this is a real thing where you only have to push the game over to a certain point, and eventually the other player will collapse on himself under the weight of what you've done. And instead, he was doing too many things, and he got punished for it. We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, game number 3, SOS versus Stats.
Ready to go.
언제나 변함없는 이 맛이 좋다. 깔끔해. 칠성사이다가 좋다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성사이다. 킹팝. 언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish Sparkling Water 트래비.
소혜의 한여름 성장 보양식. 오빠 쑥쑥 크라고. 내가 오늘 쌈 싸줄 거예요. 쌈, 고기도 많이, 김치도 많이, 쌈장도 많이, 소혜 정성도 많이. 기왕성 먹고 기왕장 돼야 돼요. 올여름 감독님을 성장시킬 폭풍 성장 서머 패키지. 비파 온라인 3. 나도 성장할 거야.
김진수 선수를 모시고 이 얘기 한번 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 네! 광고를 하시잖아요, 퓨마 오늘. 네, 이거 좀 보여드리겠습니다. 오, 자 여러분 오늘 이거 드립니다.
이거예요.
네, 만지지만 내 거다. 벌써부터 지금 김진우 형님 별명이 뭔지 아세요?
뭐예요? 메가섭이?
아우,
얼굴로 웃긴 게 없잖아요.
김진수 화이팅! 퓨마 화이팅!
면도기에서 면도날은 날카로우며 섬세하죠. 그래서 쉴드가 필요합니다. 이중 윤활 밴드가 아래에 하나, 위에 또 하나. 그리고 시원한 효과까지. 오, 차가워. 질레트 프로실드 7. 쿨링을 더한 프로실드 7로 당신의 면도를 부드럽고 시원하게. 질레트 프로실드 7. 남자를 위한 최상의 선택. 프로실드 7과 프로실드로 최상의 면도를 경험해보세요.
sOs.
Welcome back to the GSL Code S. We're tied up 1-1. It's been a series I feel like Stats played a little bit better, but that last game he got punished because he wasn't being safe while he was winning the game, basically.
Yeah, and
the fact that he had no options for detection whatsoever.
I mean, it's a tight thing to try to make that decision right then and there. Like, his stats build was good. It was a powerful build. The only thing it's super weak to is DTs.
Right.
And there was already a pile on the map and everything, so tough situation for him. But that's how the cookie crumbles with SOS. A lot of the times you're like, well, I think this other guy might have been playing better. But actually what happened is DT's gun his base and killed him, and that's how SOS rolls.
You know, the funny thing about SOS is that even though this has been a bumpy series for him to start off, I'm curious to see how much better he's going to look as time passes, because this is why he's so good in a best of 7 or a best of 5, is that he does know how to gather and farm information on his opponent during a series and then make proper adjustments. He doesn't strike me as somebody who had all 7 builds mapped out, you know, before he came in here today. I think he's somebody who actually does make those adjustments and mixes it up based off what he's seeing his opponent do.
Possibly there. Our next map is actually going to be Whirlwind.
Yeah.
This
may be more of a standard game
think
out
so?
of these two guys.
It could be.
By
Kind
the
of
way,
a very funny map compared to the others. But yes, Super Tournament. Tell us about it, Tasteless.
it's going to be 4 days of awesomeness. We start out with 16. By the last day, we have 1 champion. It's all back-to-back, so if you want to just join us as we cram through some great StarCraft 2 in between our standard GSL Code S matches, this is the tournament for you.
Yes. And you see there's still WCS points on the line there. That's
right.
actually most likely going to be a deciding tournament for some amount of BlizzCon spots. So we will see about that. Of course, the 4 men left here, only SOS still needs a spot in BlizzCon. Has to win tonight to have a chance. He's already at 1-1 here against Stats, so the 4-1 dream is alive. I wasn't expecting to lose Abyssal. Yeah, but what can I do?
We got to wait and see what SOS is going to do every game. He's the player who's a little bit more unpredictable. Stats is like the guy you want to copy if you want to just ladder, play well. SOS is the guy you want to copy if you want to make people rage and look like a crazy genius.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, well, SOS either looks brilliant or terrible, so
yeah.
There's definitely a big difference there depending on what's going on. Looks like the sound of Stats might be a little bit messed up right
looks
now.
like we have one of our tech guys down there. We should have that issue sorted out in just a little bit. Again, though, tied up 1-1, so it's still anybody's series. I do wonder if SOS is going to bring out any more standard games, because so far everything's been a little bit wonky, a little bit off, which is to be expected, I guess, for him.
Yeah.
But the thing that's scary about SOS is if he doesn't do that weird stuff, he can still play a standard game.
He absolutely can.
I want to make sure I'm explaining SOS correctly to the viewers, because he does do crazy stuff, but if he goes for a normal game, he can beat you. He knows how to macro, he knows how to tech up in a standard way, and I wonder if maybe that's what he needs to do here against Stats.
And the cool thing is, like, even if he gets a little bit behind in a normal game because the other player might be slightly stronger at the normal game, overall, he'll have a creative, kind of clever way to still beat you because of it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I'll never forget some of these games like that Phoenix game, where like the Phoenix
where he
had
got him
range.
up against the wall.
He had him in like the craziest spot. Then he just came in and flanked his opponent against the wall and had an extra one. So won against Phoenix range without Phoenix range.
Crazy. All right, guys, game number 3 is ready. Let's go.
GSL Season 3 Code S.
In the upper left, in the blue, he is
Jin Air Green Wings, SOS.
in the upper right, in the red, he is
Splice, Stats.
Okay, I got a question for you, Artosis, because I was thinking about this while I was taking the train down to the studio today, but obviously, you know, when you're on Twitter, most of the things people are tweeting at you or me are about StarCraft.
Yes.
Now, you know there's one player I never seem to get asked about on Twitter is SOS.
Yeah.
Do you have this at all? People, I feel like people don't really question where SOS is. They've sort of accepted it, that he is, at any given point in time, possibly the best player. But you know who I always get asked about on Twitter?
Who?
Is Innovation. Do you get that a lot?
Yeah, I think you're basically right about that. Like,
it's always like, well, what about Innovation? Because I read I read all tweets on Twitter in that voice, that weird bird voice that I just gave you.
I think Innovation is, wow,
dude. He's
just like,
proxy
all right, we're gonna gamble. But yeah, like I think Innovation, you know, he kind of has that spot as the best player, so it kind of makes sense. Welcome, guys. Thank you for coming down.
I think the difference is that everybody will say Innovation's the best player, but a lot of times he doesn't have these results that back it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, it's hard to stay, like, winning every single tournament throughout a year, definitely. But, like, I think everyone kind of has that feel that it's like, okay, this is the player to truly watch. I think everyone feels like, you know, over the next 5-6 years, because StarCraft fans are dedicated, man. None of us are ever going to stop watching this game. But that's going to be the player, right, that there are legends about. That is the Flash of StarCraft 2, I think, is what everyone's feeling is. So everyone's very excited to talk about him as much as possible.
Yeah, whereas I feel like SOS is sort of that crazy player that it only works for him. It's a completely different approach. By the way, we have another proxied Stargate here. And I think with the Adepts coming down here for SOS, he might be able to draw his opponent back. Oh, that's too bad. He stopped moving with the probe. If he can keep those Adepts back over there,
dude, okay,
he's going to be able to get an Oracle out of this Stargate.
So, do you see where this Mothership Core is? That is not where it should be to defend against an Oracle, so that could be a little bit scary for him. You know what this reminds me of? Okay, good thing he's finally killing off this this probe over there. This is making me think a lot about Game 1 Abyssal Reef, where he was poking a lot with the Adepts. Stats, I think, is looking at this as the same type of play. But instead, there's a proxy Oracle instead of additional Adepts coming into fight.
Okay, the Oracle's out. Now, there's nothing here to defend immediately.
Yeah, man. He's in so much trouble. Holy. Watch this.
All right, this is going to be a huge problem. All these workers taking so much damage. He can even get the sentry when he decides. Oh my God, he needs to get up here.
Oh my
Mothership.
God.
6, 7, 8. Yep, now 8, and now he's going to retreat. And the Oracle lives.
There's a Phoenix about to pop out here. A second Oracle is coming out. So, and the thing is, he knows a Phoenix is on the way. Let's see what he does with this Oracle to make that work out. But look, I feel like this was a very good mind game coming out of SOS, and Stats kind of, he played as if this was the Abyssal Reef game, and it just wasn't.
This is so smart here by, okay, there's a second Oracle, by the way. He's going to tag. That's one way to do it.
Yeah,
that's one way.
What else are you going to do?
At least you know where the Phoenix is for the other Oracle.
Yeah, it's something.
But, you know, this is what we were talking about earlier with the fact that SOS, like, always knows how to play into a series of games with his opponent. And now he's going to go, SOS is going to go for double Stargate of his own. Oh my goodness, is that?
Oh, jeez.
He's actually going to get in there.
Yeah. Okay, well, he gets it. But at least he sees how many Phoenixes are and all that. And he's going into double Stargate Phoenix, and what is super cool about this is because he killed so many probes, even though he's starting Phoenixes a bit later. If you have some, like, Stats went down to, like, what, 20-something probes, like 22 probes maybe?
Yeah, I believe you're correct.
Yeah.
And the fact that he sees that this Stargate at the bottom or the center right isn't making, SOS can, if he does it right, completely throw off Stats here.
Yeah, Stats is making a Robo right now, and he's got a lower economy. And when you have a lower economy, it's super hard to go Phoenix versus Phoenix.
And the thing is, it might be looking at, he knows for sure.
Yeah,
so the element of surprise is basically gone here. Okay, well, we know who wins that fight now. That's that was interesting, but I think this is going to be helpful for Stats. Now that he at least knows it's double Stargate play, we see a Robo, well, we were saying earlier, Robo finishing up here for Stats, but I think had SOS kept this a secret a little bit longer, it would have been huge.
Yeah, you're certainly right about that. Like, if those Adepts hadn't seen it, that would make a very tough situation here for Stats, who, by the way, is making one Phoenix at a time, so that makes me a bit nervous for him. Yeah, because he started with 3 against, like, 1 or so. It'll take a little bit to catch up, but...
You know, another thing to keep in mind is, for those of the viewers that are not that familiar with PvP, the fact of the matter is that if you're slightly ahead in Phoenix versus Phoenix, then you win outright in such an incredible exponential fashion. It's insane. And so if you're both going Phoenixes, you end up in a situation where you're kind of both stuck going Phoenixes to keep it up, because otherwise you stopped, you're making a ground army, they destroy your army, and then they pick up whatever remaining ground troops you have and win the game.
Well, now we have Stats. He's down a single Phoenix. He's adding a second Stargate here, though, so going to try to catch up.
Okay, he's coming in.
Oh, God, he's down a Phoenix. This is very rough.
Okay, it's now 7 versus 5. More Phoenixes are coming in. Now, if he can pin him up against a wall, some Stalkers warp in to make the equation a little bit more difficult here for SOS to justify keeping his Phoenixes over there. But that also means that those Phoenixes have to stay back for a little while.
Yeah, and that's more gas. That's more minerals that Stats is spending on these Stalkers to produce non-stop from 2 Stargates. Phoenixes, it's actually very tough to keep that economy
also,
together.
Purely as a response to having those Phoenixes over his army. And SOS is also going to be getting Phoenix range, it looks like, coming up here.
Well, that is definitely a good way to use that extra economy. He's not spending on stalkers as Stats is.
So this means map control is going to SOS, and Stats is in a very awkward spot from here on out. I wish we could actually take a look at the overall Phoenix count again. It's kind of hard to gauge.
I think that right now he's up 2 or 3.
It looks like he wants to try to come in here and possibly snipe a Phoenix as it's popping out of the Stargate, because even just getting 1 kill on it is huge.
That was millimeters from killing a Phoenix right there. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, he's remaining at a 2 Phoenix lead, and he's taking a quicker third. When you're both going Phoenixes, then like all you should really be making is Nexuses and Phoenixes.
So in this matchup, in Phoenix versus Phoenix, the corners of the map are very important, because Phoenixes are these units that are actually, even for beginners, very easy to micro and maneuver around. But if you can get a higher number of Phoenixes and actually box theirs into the corner of the map, which is what we were talking about earlier before this game started, that's one way to completely snowball a fight.
Yeah.
Because they can't just out-maneuver you and out-position you.
Yeah, now look at this. Okay, Stats is taking a third Nexus. He is making the Fleet Beacon, so he can get into that same type of Phoenix play. But as range finishes up, and he knows that his range is quicker, SOS does, because he's been flying around that base. So the moment that finishes, he should be poking and prodding in.
Yeah. He might be able to just kill them right when this range finishes. It's only about 10 seconds away. Get ready. Dude, SOS is going to gear up for an attack.
He's ahead in every single way right now. Like, this is really going to be massive as this finishes. And here he goes. He finishes. He's going in.
Coming in. And immediately gets that.
Oh, God. He actually didn't get any overcharges off. And now these Phoenixes are going to go down. As he kills these off, it becomes almost zero. Oh, he actually Stats gets on top of everything.
Well, the trick is that he's trying to kite back so that his shots are hitting the Phoenixes. And that's going to be it. SOS does it again. This guy is so sneaky, so brainy. You just never get to play the PvP you practice for.
No.
If you're someone like Stats, and it's always, can you handle what SOS is going to throw at you?
Don't forget either, he did the 66% proxy, chose 2 mains, made a pylon in between them.
Good point.
So if Stats had been bottom left, then SOS opens up with a disadvantage there. Not necessarily the biggest, he might have a build ready for that.
Or maybe go for DTs or something weird like that and hide the Dark Shrine.
I'm sure, but
something.
Yeah, that, you know, he's looking to hopefully do the Stargate build there. But anyways, that was very well done by SOS. Stats' only actual problem this game was having the Mothership Core out front. If he had kept that in the main base, the Oracle never gets that many kills, and we have a real legit game going on.
The problem is, though, is you don't know what angle he's going to come in at. And when you have that many Phoenixes with the range upgrade, that Mothership goes down very fast. And then it's basically impossible, even if you have a few Stalkers on the ground, to ever get in the right position to have that fight. We're going to go on to the map Ascension to IR. Again, we have not had a normal game this series. No surprise because SOS is here. Stats, he's looked good, but overall, SOS has outmaneuvered him.
Ascension IR, let's do it!
2017 Hot 6, GSL Season 3, Code S.
In the upper left in the blue.
Jin Air Green Wings, SOS.
In the bottom right in the red.
Splice, Stats.
What will SOS be pulling out this time? Stats starting to get a little wiggly. We saw him bob in there.
Yeah, it kind of looked like he was sitting on a bouncy ball.
Yeah.
You ever tried sitting on a one of those big yoga balls? People are like, this is going to make your posture better when you play games. And then you're sitting on a bouncy ball, hunched over.
Yeah.
You feel like a real fool.
True. It's so true.
I'm like, have you ever tried playing StarCraft and trying to focus on posture? I don't think you can do these things as well at the same time.
The thing is, it didn't really work for me like that. Hey, guys. That's a very creative way to share a headset right there. But the bounce ball doesn't work for me as well, Tasteless, because I have a standing desk, so I try to stand on it, and then it's like a circus act, like I'm a bear that's trying to bounce on a ball while playing on my computer. It just, man, it doesn't work.
You ever
at all.
these weird seats? Do you ever see these? We ended up with one in my mom's house where it was like a thing you sort of kneel on, sit your butt back on. Have you ever seen this?
Oh, I've seen those at
Yeah.
like IKEA
And then
or something.
and then I try playing computer games with that, and I look even worse.
What it looks like is just a tilted stool. I'm like, wow, I can't step on this to get anything
and
out
I'm like,
of my
I don't
cupboard.
think humans were ever meant to sit
No.
like this ever.
Yeah, who made this?
We found special carvings in the rocks so we could position our bodies, kind of locked them in there. Still no support for the back.
If you have a seat like this in your house, you also eat quinoa twice a week. All right.
By the way, he hit a pylon again in the bottom left. SOS is just not stopping.
Yeah,
You know,
dude, no.
Sometimes if you do enough weird strats over and over in a game, even if they sort of know that this might be coming, if you can mix up the weirdness of the weird strats, it's still hard to deal with.
Varying degrees of weirdness.
Yeah. And he does get that one probe. It's like fish in a barrel. So we have SOS making a Nexus. Now the pylon has been proxied down here at the bottom left. We're waiting to see what is going to be made, if anything.
I don't think he's going to do anything. Like, I think it's just he's being a sneaky snake, maybe.
Well, it's also possible a scout does come in at this level of play. He's like, a pylon's missing.
The build he's doing right now is as standard as they really come, right? He's getting a couple sentries. He's already getting his robo. His Nexus is a lot quicker. Whereas Stats is crossing his T's, dotting his I's. You know, he's scouting absolutely everywhere. He is going into a Twilight, which is not abnormal. This is a good way to play. You know, if you've determined that you're pretty safe for the time being, getting that Twilight so you get your blink, generally speaking, quicker.
Okay, Stalkers are coming up now. Stalkers for Stats. Let's not forget there was a game just like this where SOS started to fall apart early on. There's 2 sentries here. That's not necessarily enough. We need to get the... okay, he should be fine now.
Yeah, there's an Immortal on the way. So between an Overcharge or 2 and this Immortal being chronoed, he should be 100% fine here.
Now, Stats is going for Blink behind all this.
Now,
with his Nexus just about to finish up.
Also, with this Immortal, if he goes Prism next, he can do like a delayed attack with that. I don't think you bust Stats, though. I don't think it's really possible because this wasn't like Robo before Nexus. So I wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of plays normal, but we don't see a Twilight yet, so that's where I'm getting thrown off here by SOS. Like, by now you should have a Twilight up if you are not going to attack. I guess he's going to attack.
Yeah, he wants to push out.
But
sometimes things can get a little bit... Yeah, I agree with you, Artosis. Sometimes things can get boxy, though, outside the natural.
Yeah.
Especially if you have those sentries up. You notice that this is going to get here before Stats' Blink is going to finish.
Wow.
And yeah, if you can pick the fight correctly, sometimes this kind of spirals out of control. Is there any proxied pylon here with this, though?
No, there's not.
It's so weird.
And the thing is, if you don't have a Prism, you can't save anything from his force field. So, like, if he does a nice little force field, 2 or 3 of them, with an overcharge, you lose a bunch of units.
Maybe what he's trying to do is make it look like he's doing that push, and he's just teching modestly behind this. Oh, look at this.
This is the most conservative
He just made a hallucinated Warp Prism. He's trying to fake him out.
Oh, my God.
Look at this guy, is so brainy. And he starts to warp in hallucinated units with that unit.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know you could do that. So, I guess the whole thing was a ruse. It designed to look like that rush, and then he backs it up. God, SOS, really smart guy. I feel a little bit weird about that strategy because I'm not sure how much that helps him, as I don't feel like Stats has to do anything different when he's holding that off.
Well, right? Yeah. It was certainly... Oh, God, he's got so much energy on the sentries. He can't lose those. Okay. Please don't lose those.
Okay, well, there's enough Immortals up here.
Yeah, like, he's kind of okay out here, but this is a little bit scary. He has a Prism on the way.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, God, don't lose these sentries. Oh, that was
You know what he wants to do? It looks like he wants to follow this up with a second push much later on.
Yeah.
Whereas Stats wants to expand, as he's saying, oh, well, that clearly... Okay, I think I understand it now. I believe the way that Stats views the situation, it says, oh my God, he was never attacking me. That was a hallucination. So clearly he's going to be expanding on his own. Therefore, I need to get an expansion of mine up right away. But before that Nexus started making for SOS, or I thought, okay, he actually canceled and then he made it again. Before that Nexus started making, he got like 6 more gateways.
Yeah.
So he's actually going to have a pretty solid timing. Whereas you can see the rest of the gateways are actually making right now for Stats.
Okay, so he's hitting before any charge. Like, this is kind of a Stalker countering set of units, and he has a High Templar in the Prism, so he wants to feed back the Mothership Core. If he can feed back the Mothership Core, like, so much of your defense is based off of that mothership core, so that definitely could mess everything up.
Okay, with the Archon in the front here, you can't really utilize force fields against this army.
Yeah, it's
a lot of
very
times
tough.
that's how you want to win with your Immortals against theirs.
Ooh, this is great play with these Stalkers, though. The Stalkers aren't afraid, really. They can kind of step forward and take some pot shots there at the Archon.
Now he's cut off the rotation from the second base and the third base.
Okay, look at this. He just found the mothership core. Watch this, watch this.
Here we go.
Oh my God, brilliant play. That is so
That was
big.
so sick.
That is such
what
a big part of the defense
technical
here.
attack over here. SOS is just on another level. Let's see if now the follow-up blow is going to be enough to actually kill off stats. He doesn't have a lot of the tools that he needs at his disposal. The Zealots are just spilling in.
Oh, he just needs to get an Archon on there. There he goes, picks it up, pops it over. He needs to do it again, though. There you go. Finally getting these Zealots in. New mothership core does come out, but that pylon goes down almost immediately here. These Archons being worth their weight in gold against the Zealots.
And he's just replenishing the Zealots there right when that number starts to thin out. He has a lot more to come in. And I believe that should be game in what is one of the most impressive PvP technical takedowns I've seen in a while.
Yeah, this was a pretty wild game that we just saw right here, Tasteless. Holy God, SOS is smart.
GG, SOS takes that next game.
Wow. So now we're at 3-1. Tasteless, are you ready to take back that silly 4-3 that you
I know,
predicted?
what a fool I was.
I can't believe you didn't jump on the 4-1 train with me.
I can't
You know what I knew he was going to win 4-1? Is when he lost the first map.
Yeah, that was the moment you're like, here we go.
He's getting
you gotta lose one before you win the next three.
Yeah.
That's how it works. I gotta say, man, that was beautiful. When he got in there with the Warp Prism, unloaded the Templar, and you could see Stats was totally caught off guard. He nuked that mothership core, excuse me, and then there was nothing he could do. It just, suddenly the turtled position that Stats was in that he was gonna rely on to hang on was not enough at all.
Yeah. Killing the mothership core was 100% of that game. Like, when you really think about it, with the mothership core, he never gets broken there. That's a full that's 4 overcharges.
And everything's bunched together very nice and tightly, and that even when the pylons are eventually taken out, the damage has already been done. He drives out the rest of the army. But yeah, hitting the mothership core like that was beautiful. And I'm a little bit worried now for Stats. Each of these games has been so completely different, and it's not that Stats looks bad, but what SOS is doing is so advanced, he's able to completely play around in normal PvP.
Yeah. It's
everything Stats is doing would allow him to survive ladder games, to go into really good macro games. SOS just does not care about entering into that phase of the game.
Well, he just comes so prepared.
Yeah.
Every map, every strategy. He's the most creative Protoss that there is.
He's so scary in a series. Yeah. And now, Stats has to win every single game from here on out.
Yeah.
That is going to be so difficult against SOS, who I would not be surprised if he does not try to play a single normal game here. He doesn't have to.
Why would he?
If he tries something cheesy 3 more times in a row,
he'll get him eventually,
SOS,
right?
Yeah, odds are he should be able to pull it off. So, I don't know. We're going to go to a short break. We come back. Our next game in Stats versus SOS.
Everybody, it's a brand new sound. Now buckle up and follow me. And I move my feet like 1, 2, 3. Everybody in symmetry. Now buckle up.
언제나 변함없는 이 맛이 좋다. 깔끔해. 칠성 사이다가 좋다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성 사이다. 킹팝. 언제 어디서나 깔끔하고 상쾌하게
이런 게 트래비 스타일.
Stylish Sparkling Water 트래비.
최고의 한여름 성장 보양식. 오빠 쑥쑥 크라고. 내가 오늘 쌈 싸줄 거예요. 쌈. 고기도 많이, 김치도 많이, 쌈장도 많이, 소의 정성도 많이. 기왕쌈 먹고 기왕장 돼야 돼요. 올여름 감독님을 성장시킬 폭풍 성장 서머 패키지. 비파 온라인 3. 나도 성장할 거야.
김진수 선수를 모시고 이 얘기 한번 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 네! 광고를 하시잖아요, 퓨마 오늘. 네, 이거 좀 보여드리겠습니다. 오, 자 여러분 오늘 이거 드립니다.
이거예요.
네, 만지지만 내 거다. 벌써부터 지금 김진우 형님 별명이 뭔지 아세요?
뭐예요? 메가사비?
아우,
얼굴로 웃긴 게 없잖아요.
김진수 화이팅! 퓨마 화이팅!
면도기에서 면도날은 날카로우며 섬세하죠. 그래서 쉴드가 필요합니다. 이중 윤활 밴드가 아래에 하나, 위에 또 하나. 그리고 시원한 효과까지. 오, 차가워. 질레트 프로실드 7. 쿨링을 더한 프로실드 7로 당신의 면도를 부드럽고 시원하게. 질레트 프로실드 7. 남자를 위한 최상의 선택. 프로실드 7과 프로실드로 최상의 면도를 경험해보세요.
sOs. Stop.
We're back at the GSL Code S. One of these two players is about to move on to the finals of Season 3, and it looks like it's going to be sOs. Stats has to have the biggest comeback of his career if he's going to be in this finals.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure a little guy named the Tosis predicted a 4-1 here for sOs. So this next game, spoiler alert, he's going to wreck stats. It's on Newkirk Precinct. This is a great map to slip DTs into the natural tasteless.
I got to say, I love the way that sOs has been playing. We sort of called this before the series started out, but the fact that he has basically not played a standard anything this series is beautiful because he's going against the most standard PvP guy.
Yeah.
So just go completely outside of that.
It's just wild play.
And the thing is, every time Stats loses, he's going to be second-guessing himself in the next game. Just because you know that something weird is going to happen that's out of a standard, outside the realm of a standard PvP, does not mean you'll be able to stop it or know exactly what that is.
He's you know, sOs is basically light, okay? He's a particle and a wave, and you just can't figure out what the hell he's doing, okay? You measure it one way, it becomes the other. Okay, how do you prepare for this match? Can Stats hold himself together here in map 5?
Let's find out. We're going to Newkirk Precinct. sOs versus Stats.
2017 Hot 6 GSL Season 3 Code S.
In the bottom right, in the blue, the 3-1 lead.
Generic Green Wings SOS.
In the bottom left, he has to win every game from here on out.
Splice. Stats.
A lot of pressure on him now. Definitely wants to get into his second GSL finals. He's had such a year, too. Just great play all over the place. A lot of second places. Championship. I mean, Stats is on fire. sOs, on the other hand, as he said, you know, he made top 4 in Season 1 of Code S this year, but other than that, he hasn't really had any good results. Like, he kind of did really poorly in SSL this year. Like, really did not deliver there or anything.
Someone's sad right now.
He must be a stats fan.
Must be a stats fan right there.
Yeah. God, you can't even tell the studio's in Korea today. Look at this. There's just like so many foreigners here.
Yeah. Well, you knew before you got down there, this is like the best mirror matchup you could ask for.
This is a little Itaewon tonight taste.
This is for sure. But yeah,
it is such a match.
Now, every time I see a probe anywhere on the map and it's SOS, I'm like, okay, that's where the pylon's going.
Or is he watching for a scout to go by?
Could be either one. So we have the double adepts coming up here. A lot of people came down today.
Yeah, they did. They might be going home early, unfortunately.
Yeah. But how long have we been casting? Let me check my phone real fast. We've only been on air for like an hour and a half.
An hour and 6 minutes, Stasis.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, actually.
Military time still just, it's a tough one.
It evades me. So, we did actually, I'm sorry, he did make a pylon down there, right? Where just north of this one. Yeah, he did.
Look at that.
Wow.
He sees those going past. Please. Dude,
the balls of this guy.
Yeah.
The balls of this guy is this is just. It's like, let's make it right in the middle, in between the two units that are coming at me.
This is crazy, man. Like, he's just going to go for an immortal bust probably here.
Yeah.
That's my guess.
Well, now these adepts are going to take a lot of damage, which means Stats is going to be very vulnerable later on. In fact, he's going to get both of these adepts, no problem.
And look, that was a recall on the mothership, so that is far less energy. That's one less overcharge. That
so this is just crazy all in, and from the way this game is looking, this proxy was made exactly in the blind spot of any normal pathing coming out of Stats' base.
Dude, I think
Look,
that
no
SOS
clue.
just wins here.
Yeah, no, I think you're 100% right.
Like, this immortal push, he lost he lost everything.
The immortal's going to be here so much faster than it ever would normally. Everything is just out of vision. This game is going to haunt Stats for some time now. The probe is coming in now.
Dude, there's nothing here. He has 2 stalkers. The pylon will be dead before the mothership core can get down there. Okay, the mothership core is already there, so I take that back. But this army is so sick. Like, he can just shade the 2 adepts up and then bust.
One of these stalkers even moving out a little bit too far north. He needs to get these back. In fact, I think he can gun down one of these stalkers before it's ever able to be utilized.
Now look, that shade-in is so sick as well. He shades him right into the main base, kills that pylon. Oh, I guess he actually stopped that somehow, but
I think he wants to just pick the fight before he can actually muster up anything else. Now he's going to go down here. He's able to hit the Nexus. If he can get up there to where that pylon is, it's sort of covered up by the mothership core. Then these gateways are temporarily unpowered, and this just speeds the momentum.
Oh, he lost vision! Okay, well, he does get it right there.
Yeah, he's fine.
That is tasteless.
That should be game. That's going to be it. I mean, SOS, this is why this guy has won the World Championship twice. He's just that good.
Wow. Wow.
GG, SOS did it.
SOS goes on to his second GSL Codes Finals and still keeps the BlizzCon dream alive with Tasteless. What was the score, Tasteless?
4-1.
I am your god, StarCraft fans. Bow before me, I know all.
That was amazing. He was so good in that series. I mean, talk about just outsmarting standard play. The guts to put that proxy there. The mothership core went underneath it. The adepts went over it. And before Stats had any idea what was going on,
that was his seal
there was an
attack.
immortal. Yeah, that was. He just got in there with that strike force, took out Stats in such a convincing fashion. This was a series where Stats was never able to play the games he wanted to play because SOS was coming up with such crazy openers, such crazy deceptive strats that it was like, you know what it was like? It was like SOS was a world-class magician and Stats was like a guy who's never been to a magic show.
Oh,
why did you do that?
He's like, what's this in your ear? It's an immortal!
Yeah, it's a warp prism!
Then he opens his sleeve and he's like, no
And
doves came out.
now-
He's like, you can't see them because they're dark Templar doves. And then they kill all his probes. It's so sad.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I will make Stats' career disappear.
승부사 역시 심리전의 대가입니다. 자, 마지막 시즌 결승 진출자.
He's the master of the mind
결승
games.
진출에 성공한
Our
김유진
first
선수입니다.
finalist,
축하드립니다.
SOS, congratulations.
감사합니다.
Thank you.
와, 정말 축하드립니다. 먼저
네.
결승전 진출 소감 어떠세요?
우선
So how do you
준비는
feel?
많이 했었는데
네.
막상 경기장
I prepared really hard.
긴장돼서 좀 첫 경기를
And once I was
치고
going into the
나니까
games,
좀
I got actually
마음
pretty
편하게
nervous.
해서
So after I lost the
이길 수
first
있었던 것
map,
같아요.
오늘 4강 경기요.
I think it really messed with my nerves.
최고.
But I felt much more comfortable after the second game.
연습을 좀
Your
많이
performance today was
해와가지고
astounding.
네.
대업이가
Some of the best we've seen.
다 눈에 보여가지고 조금 쉽게 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
네.
I prepared super hard, and I think I was able to predict how Stats would play and react to me.
아무도 예상하지 못할 때 아무 기사도 들어오고 이런 심리전의
Yeah, you seem to have a very good read on Stats throughout all those games. You're so good at those mind games.
우선 대업이가
Well, do you
운영을
have any major
잘하다
concepts
보니까
you were going over before these games today?
5대5로 가면 아무래도 제가 불리하다고
So
생각해서
Stats likes to play a long, steady PvP.
저에 맞는
I felt that if I
플레이를
went into
해서
late game
이길 수
against
있었던
him, I'd
것 같아요.
have some problems and maybe be at a disadvantage. So I played around that.
그렇게 이기시다니. 오늘 참 좋은 경기력, 기분이 좋으실 것 같습니다.
You must be really happy to pull off such incredible
좋은
performance.
모습 보여드리지 못할까봐 불안해하신 것 같았어요. 그래서 이번 시즌은 매 경기
You were in a slump for a while,
하나하나
though. A
최선을
lot of your
다하고
fans
계신다고
are worried for you.
하셨었는데 이제는 좀
But-
안도가 되시나요?
우선 그래도 결승
It
가는
looks like you just
모습
focused on one game at a time. Tell us about that.
또 어느 정도는 만족시킨 것 같고 그래도 결승 올라간 김에 GSL 첫 우승
I'm definitely
꼭 해보고
satisfied with my performance
네.
today.
김유진 선수에게
Since I made
없는
it to the
단 한
finals,
가지가 국내
I've got
우승,
a lot of work ahead
GSL
of me.
우승이었거든요.
I wanna win the
GSL이
GSL
어떤
Codex title.
의미인지 들을 수 있을까요?
What does GSL mean for you?
우선 돈은 좀 많이 벌어봐서 좀 상금 욕심보다는
Since I've already won a lot of prize money,
명예가 좀 많이
it's definitely not
필요한 것
about the
같아서
cash.
이번에 이제 마지막
It's more
한
about the
번이니까
respect and getting the
우승해보고
reputation
싶어요.
of being a GSL Codex champion.
응원하겠습니다.
And since this is the
지금
last
이제
season for this
남은
year,
한 자리는
I really want it now. I'm
김용 선수와
hungry.
이신영 선수 둘 중에 한 분이 될 텐데 어떤
You're going
선수
to face either Dark or Innovation. Do you have any preference on which
둘다
player to
저그
face off
테란
against?
탑급이라서
Honestly,
네.
those two are
누가 올라와도 힘들 것
World
같은데
class Zerg and world class
이신영
Terran.
선수한테 좀 많이 져가지고
whoever I'm going to face. It's going to be tough. But
올라와서 그래도
since I've already
가능성이
lost a lot of games lately against
좀
Innovation,
없겠지만 그래도 붙어서 꼭 이기는 모습 보여드리고 싶어요.
네, 복수하시려고요.
I really want to
복수가
get it, my
될지는
revenge and beat him.
모르겠는데
So that'd be
그래도
nice.
준비하는 기간도 많고 그리고 저희는
He says, I don't know if I
팀이
can do it though.
있거든요.
네.
이번에
I've got a lot of time to
4강,
prep.
8강, 16강 다 연습을 엄청 많이 했는데 그 연습
Jin-Air.
상대가 다 팀원이라서
Our team's still around. They're still supporting us. They've been solid to us.
고마운 분들에게
So I
한마디
definitely got
하셔서
teammates that can
좋아요.
help me prep.
말 안 해도 알 거예요.
그렇군요.
I think in some sense that puts me
마음으로 통할
put me
거다.
at an advantage
자,
in that
그러면 결승전 각오를 끝으로 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
You have anything you wanna say to your
응원해주시는 팬들에게
teammates?
각오 한마디
Says, yeah, they
전해주시죠.
already know.
우선
Any
4강
words to your fans?
준비하면서 좀 스트레스 많이 받긴 했지만 그래도 이렇게
I was super
이겼으니까
stressed
남은
out
결승도 꼭 준비
while prepping for the
잘해서
semis.
오늘처럼
But
이기는 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
That was,
감사합니다.
all that stress. I put that to hard work, and that's what allowed me to get to the finals. And I'm going to train even harder, prep
네,
even harder
이렇게
for the finals.
GSL
So
두
definitely
번째
watch for me.
결승전에 올라가게 된 김유진 선수를
All right,
만나봤습니다.
Gary says
자,
congratulations.
이제 경기는
And I have to
4강
say,
2경기
SOS
하나만
man, you just
남아있죠.
never want to
저는
count this
두
guy
번째
out.
경기로 돌아오도록
He's so
하겠습니다.
smart. And you can see that, like, every game, there was an angle that SOS was coming in there for. He just had some kind of plan, and it was all structured around a very standard reactive macro Protoss. And you know what? SOS even said if he went into late game, he'd probably be at a disadvantage. So what does he do? He doesn't even get in the late game.
No. Why do it?
Why bother? This is why this guy's so successful, is that a lot of people obsess about, oh, this guy's the greatest, or I love his macro player, he plays really solid games. It's like, well, this guy just knows how to win. He's actually prepared. He's always in great shape. He can kind of play any style, but he knows what his strengths and weaknesses are against any specific opponent.
Yeah, and he knows
he'll
what their
tailor
strengths and weaknesses are.
Exactly.
It's so important.
And you know, knowing how to win is the most important thing. I know some people rage about cheesing or this guy's play style is boring. Well, ultimately the most important thing is to know whatever playstyle you have to bring out in order to come out on top. And this is very exciting to see him in another finals.
Yeah, this is so crazy. He was against Beyond last year. The winner was going to BlizzCon. The winner won BlizzCon.
That's right.
Think about that for a moment. And like, if he had gone to BlizzCon, how can't you favor him, right? He's won the tournament. He's won the World Championships twice.
And he could definitely do it a third time.
Dude, well, now the door is open.
And
he
also,
can
you
make
know,
it.
he could win Code S and BlizzCon, and then we'd have to be like,
well, I mean, SOS at that point, dude.
Point in time.
How much money is he really going to win?
Yeah. Don't forget, guys, we have on Saturday at 1 p.m. KST, we have Innovation versus Dark. This is going to be an insane series. Yeah. Certainly it will be longer than the PvP we had here tonight.
No doubt there.
Certainly.
No doubt. That is going to be a really good series. Literally the best Zerg in the world against literally the best Terran in the world. And the winner, as their prize, gets to go against SOS in a best of 7.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Just crazy.
Well, I'm very happy that we have SOS in the finals. He always makes for an interesting series.
Oh, yeah, that'll be good no matter what. No matter what happens.
It's so hard to prep versus him. And then you look at Innovation and Dark, and these guys are so solid in their play. I think no matter what, no matter who moves on, we can be pretty much happy with these two guys duking it out.
Don't forget Super Tournament as well. If SOS doesn't win the finals, I'm pretty sure he needs to get at least top 2, maybe even win this one to make it to BlizzCon. But the door is open, man. He can do it. There's also some other players really looking for points. Maru and Solar are tied for 9th right now. And, of course, Hero and Beyond are in 7th and 8th. And those are the 2 spots that are really kind of up for grabs. And there's... Now it's SOS, Solar, Maru, Beyond, and Hero. I believe 2 of those 5 will be going to BlizzCon. I'll have to relook at the points, but yeah, it's getting a little bit crazy.
It is. Super Tournament was a lot of fun.
Classic has a little tiny chance to.
You might be right. I'm not
totally
wins
sure. SSL and Super, maybe.
You can take the risk and say that. I'm not 100% sure about that.
I'll go over all the points again when it matters.
If you saw the Super Tournament we did earlier this year, it was a lot of fun. I know we had a blast doing it. It's kind of weird.
So cool.
You know, we're so used to the tournaments that we do out here. They take months. It's kind of cool because we see everything unfold very slowly and we can build up narratives. But the Super Tournament's a blast because it's kind of like, in some ways, it's our response to these big marathon tournaments that you see overseas. We thought, well, we could just get the 16 best guys and have them fight it out and just have a bunch of great games jam-packed together as well. And so that's what we have in the Super Tournament. So even when the GSL Code S is done, we still have a little bit more StarCraft 2 here in Korea.
That's right. And don't forget this weekend, DreamHack Montreal.
Yes.
Should be occurring, right? So
do not miss out on that. There's lots of StarCraft for you out there.
Definitely check that out. Yeah, and of course the Saturday match you just have to see, and then we get the finals. And don't forget ASL is coming right back as well on Sunday.
For those of you guys who have been playing StarCraft Remastered and maybe don't feel like you have enough direction on what to do and what the meta is, this is going to be a great way for you to learn because you're going to see the freshest top-tier meta in StarCraft Remastered. Again, we're going to be trying to cast that to make that as accessible to new people as possible. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Just more great StarCraft here at our studio. That's going to do it for us here at the GSL Code S. We'll see you on Saturday. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are.